There he is.
There he is, Judge Executive Michael Mueller. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on today.
Hey, glad to have you here on a Friday. This is our first time having you live as a guest because you were in the studio a couple months ago for the Easter egg.
Correct.
Easter egg hunt, but
this is the first one-on-one. There's been some scheduling conflicts. It's been a little busy.
We're so glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
Let's jump right in. We can talk about the road department. Right, there's a new facility being built. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so it started in the last court. We realized that the road department that we're using currently was built in the 1950s. It's very outdated. So the last court and this court have been working diligently to come up with a new road department facility. You know, our road department is very important to us. You know, they do snow removal, they fix the roads, they do the mowing. Compostable animals, I mean, all kinds of things that people don't even think about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a backbone of county government, so it's not super glamorous, you know.
It's one of those unfortunately thankless jobs.
Correct.
Right? And we try to thank them, and I know you all do.
Right.
You do a great job of giving their kudos as much as possible. But
absolutely.
it's a lot of the things they know when it doesn't get done.
Right.
Is when
that's when you hear about
Yeah,
it. So,
yeah.
but yeah, that's an exciting capital improvement that will hopefully be started in the next couple months.
Oh, nice. And so that's kind of a 3D rendering.
That
right,
is a
of what-
rendering of the
yeah.
facility, and there's some other things that go with it, new salt bin and things like that. So yeah, it's going to be built down at the same facility. So there's going to be a lot of logistics to figure out, you know, how they're going to keep operating during construction and things like that.
Yeah.
But we have a great general contractor, and we're excited to get moving on that project.
Is it a big off topic? Is the salt bin one of those big igloo things I see on the side of the road?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah, there's nothing glamorous about them, but you know, we'll go from about holding say 2,000 tons of salt to about 5,000.
Okay.
And we use probably about 2,500 on an average winter. So
Yeah.
luckily this winter we didn't have to use much.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that's the thing, it varies.
Right,
Absolutely.
especially
Talk about
here,
it.
you just
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
You all had a live fiscal court meeting last night.
Correct.
And there was some talk about salt
Yeah,
then as
we,
well. And
we-
didn't use
we-
as much this year, but then the year before.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. So it's one of those things, like you said, it's not glamorous, but it is very important for our community. So that's one of the reasons I think we're talking about it today.
Yeah, speaking of something really important to the community, it's Lakeview Park.
Yes.
That's a big
Yeah.
revamp project going on there. Yeah, what's the kind of
that's
status?
that's an exciting project. Again, started in the last court, really has momentum with the community. I think there's some plans up there now. We actually have a meeting on Monday. The architects are coming down from Indianapolis, and our contractors will be there, and we finally have pricing, and that's what we've been waiting on. So right now we don't know what we're going to spend where. You know, we're going to kind of develop a first phase depending on how the numbers come in. One of my hopes and desires is to look at some private money to work on some things.
Yeah.
So once we get the plans and everything, we're really going to kind of figure out what we think would be best for the community. You know, this is all kind of part of sports tourism. I think everybody realizes how big sports are, and, you know, just following the coach here, and, you know, he's kind of inspirational speaker this morning, but, you know, that is an important thing. And I think what we're trying to do is bring more money to our community from other people, you know, so we don't have to raise. Absolutely. So we'll be looking at potentially hiring a firm that starts bringing tournaments in, softball, soccer, things like that. So we are very, very excited. The fiscal court is excited about this project, and it's going to be a great thing for our community.
Yeah, I think we have maybe another graphic to show that's from the other PDF presentation I think you guys had. It was a part of a longer,
So this here, and we're taking this really serious, and I've met multiple times with Brittany Bashir, the First Lady. She hooked me up with Jerry Abramson, the ex-mayor up in Louisville. So this is going to be an accessible playground, and it's very important that we've worked with. So it will be built in a way for kids that maybe have autism, blind, things like that. We're trying to build, and one of the things that we have said this whole time is we want the best in the state. So to me, this is a huge focal point for our community, because unfortunately there's a lot of kids and adults in our community that, you know, that have limitations, and they don't have if they're, let's say, in a wheelchair, they don't have a place they can go get on a swing and things like that. So we're really, really trying to focus on that in this project. So it's very important to us.
Yeah, I think that's so huge to be able to provide
Absolutely.
that for folks. Yeah,
Absolutely.
So applaud you all for
the park's kind of a two-form thing, because we want sports tourism, but we also want to build something that our community can use and is proud of. So it's an exciting. I mean, that's a plan right there. You can see up top there's some multi-use, hopefully turf fields, redoing the softball complex that's there with new concessions and things like that.
Yeah.
Another big item is there's an existing horse arena. That I think everybody knows where it is, but it hasn't been used in years. So we're looking to build a pretty large amphitheater.
Yeah,
things
I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I was curious what this. Yeah, if
no,
that was still in
absolutely.
the plans,
So there's and then bathrooms throughout and lighting and things like that. So we have an indoor facility kind of marked off there as far as that dark area in the middle. Not sure if that will be first phase or not. People keep talking about a pool, and I know this community needs a pool. My son and daughter were swimmers. We are currently working with the school system. They have it in their master plan to build a pool facility. In the meantime, we are meeting with the new president of Kentucky State University. He knows it's very important. The YMCA said they will run the Exum Center. So we actually have a joint meeting with Kentucky State University on July 7th.
Okay.
He knows it's very important, so he's putting it at the top of his list. So hopefully we can get something moving there.
Yeah, on this side of town especially. It's a big need, I think.
Yep.
And then longest day of play was this past Wednesday.
It was.
We had Marshall and Tim on the show to talk about it, but that was a big event for the community.
It amazes me. I was fortunate enough to go, and I think they said there was 500 people, 482 people actually went to the pool, but there were 600 wristbands handed out. So we don't know exactly how many people were there, but I swear I've never seen a lot of people in my life. I'm like, this is amazing. To do an event like that just shows that, people want things in the community to do. So, I applaud the Kiwanis and health department and all the people, the police department, sheriff's department, everybody that was involved in it. It was an amazing thing where everybody comes together.
Yep.
Fiscal court was there, not just with the sheriff's department. The firefighters were there. We had a stand set up where we did the kids' IDs. So I think we did 60 that night. So, it was just a great event for the community.
That's one of the things we talk about on the show all the time too, is when we have those community events and how nice it is to just see how many different partner organizations come together to create something cool for the community. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, another kind of quirky thing. We're not to our question of the day yet, but you're the judge executive, and sometimes officiating weddings.
Yeah.
It's kind of part of what you do, part of your duties. Have you had to perform?
I have. I've done about 4 or 5 so far.
Yeah.
So they're interesting. Some are some just come in and they want a wedding. So if the schedule permits, we do them. Some are planned. There's been some beautiful ones. People come in dressed up with flowers and people with them. So, I think it's kind of taken a step back to realize this is their special day. Next week will be my 20th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So, I kind of step back and say, wow, this is a big deal for these people. So it's nice to do.
Yeah, and you get to be a kind of part of a special day for a lot of folks. Yeah, and you said you had to read one. You got to read one in Spanish.
Yeah, I speak pretty good Spanish, and
I didn't know this about you.
I do. So, so one of them I did in Spanish, and it had been a long time since I read Spanish, so it went okay. Yeah. I speak it a lot better than I can read it. So but it was good.
Yeah, muy bien. Yeah, muchas gracias to you.
But we have a lot going on.
Absolutely.
On day to day.
So, question of the day. Mm-hmm. Talking about pets, right? Mm-hmm. National Bring Your Pet to Work Day. Bring Your Dog to Work Day. Do you have any quirky behaviors from your animals?
We have animals. So we live on a farm. So we actually have we board a horse for a friend of ours. Mm-hmm. We have a couple goats. We have a couple rescue cats that keep the mice out, and we have one dog. So they're all different in their own way. So.
Those cats are workers, though, right?
They are. Well, not anymore. They're about 13 years old now,
okay,
so they've slowed down in their older age. They used to bring a mouse to leave it at the door to show that they're working.
Sure,
that hasn't happened in a while.
Now they're just like, hey, there's one over there.
Yeah. You could walk it over to it, and I don't think it would get it. So, that's just kind of part of it. So, yeah.
Well. Unless there's anything else you want to kind of share with us today, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I want to talk a little bit, just real quick, about one of the things that we did when we came into office was realize, we've always heard for years about planning and zoning. It's hard, red tape, things are slow. So last month we did our first contractors and coffee because we want input from them as far as what they're seeing on a day-to-day basis. So after that, we've really taken some time to regroup and look at how we're doing things. We're in the process, and we voted last night at the fiscal court to engage with a company. We're putting everything online. So all forms, fees, permits, things like that will hopefully in the next 2 months be online, and we're going to start the planning and zoning, and then we'll move to tax administrative, the park. So we're hoping, I'd like to see it by the end of the year, that everything's online, portals, you can pay online, and just kind of bring everything up to modernization time. So it's exciting. It's very important to us, and I think hopefully the community sees that we're working hard.
Yeah, we've heard that in the past that some things might be a little bit prohibitive of getting things done here in town. So that's great, and definitely
and just start those
have an
conversations
impact.
too, and find out what developers need.
Yeah, we're moving on it. We're listening and we're making changes. I remind people all the time. We've been in office 6 months, but I feel like we have a great team and we work hard and we're getting a lot done on a day-to-day basis.
Listening is always a good place to start.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Judge Executive Michael Mueller, thanks so much for coming on the show, and we're happy to have you back on again.
Anytime, and like I said, I appreciate what you all do, and I appreciate the community, and if anybody needs anything, don't hesitate to give us a call or come down and see us.
Nice.
Good deal. Thank you, Judge. We'll see you again
soon.
soon.
Thank you. Sounds good. Thank you.